Hey everyone, and welcome back to another special episode of the Class 1A podcast, your favorite weekly My Hero podcast presented by Popped Off. As always, my name is Andrew Nimsgren, and I will be your host, but you may know me as the Big Business Hero Advert, and alongside me, I have Apothecary and Fanfic, or you probably know him as James Graham and Dylan Beal by now. But, how you guys doing today?
That was a good intro. I'm doing good. I'm excited about our topic.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm excited to do it, but I don't know how it's gonna go. So.
It's gonna go well. Everything we do goes well. So
yes,
yeah, everything
ever.
Yeah, we are never scuffed, never, not once.
But yes, so we've gotten bad about saying what the topic is for the next week. So you guys are all coming in totally blind about what we're talking about today. We got that solved. We'll start working on that as well. But the topic we're going to be going into after the rigmarole, all that, so it'll be a little bit of time still. But we're going to be talking about like hero education in the My Hero universe. This is probably the least information we've had on a topic overall that we're going to talk about. So there's going to be a lot of speculation, a lot of bullshit, with a little bit of reasoning and maybe some speculation thrown in there too. But we're just going to kind of go off the deep end after the first 5 minutes of talking about real stuff. And then Dylan's going to try to push his college lifestyle onto the UA students, I'm assuming. But we can talk about all that and go off the deep end after James. Dylan, give us the rigmarole.
Yeah, go tell your friends about us. I know you got friends. I know you got that Discord that you talk about anime in. Go in there. Go post about the Class 1A podcast. Message someone there. Say, hey, I heard you like My Hero. Why don't you listen to this? Why don't we talk about it a little bit? And once you're done with that, go leave a 5-star review for us, please, because that would absolutely mean the world to us.
Yeah, and if you have suggestions for, show ideas, ways Andrew can spice up the intro, maybe talking about Dylan's height, anything like that, we can get into it. We can get into it either on Twitter at popped_off, or you can email us at contact@poppedoff.com.
Okay, I want to stop this here. I will not be known as the Minetta of the group.
You're already there, buddy. You've been there
Compared
since,
to us, you're smaller than Minetta. Like, the height difference between Minetta, the normal class students, and then the difference between me and James and you is even bigger than that normal difference. So, you're worse than Minetta.
Oh, no.
There's pictures online if you guys want to go see it. Dylan's super short. But let's jump into the topic before he has a chance to even recover from that, of talking about hero schools in the My Hero Academia universe. Obviously, we have the big one that is UA, and if anything, we'll bring that up in the overall conversation, but I don't think we need to dive too much into that. We kind of understand the basic premise of it. It is a 3-year school where they go after middle school to become a hero. They go over hero lessons, improving the quirks, becoming a good hero, and learning what it means to be a hero, on top of doing their normal academics. And they also do have non-hero related things, including support courses, business courses, and then the hero courses, I believe, are the 3 that they at least covered in the show. Outside of that, the few schools we know about, all from one arc, which was the hero license examining arc, was Shiketsu High School, which has Inasa in that cast, Ketsubutsu, which is going to have Miss Smile and all of her students, and then the CI Academy, which is the preppy girls that were like with the one mean mastermind. And then the other one is Senjin High School, which had the ninjas that Todoroki took down an entire class of by himself. So, we know there are other hero schools in the universe. I mean, do we think there are 50, 60 across Japan? Do we think these were the 5 or 6? Or what do we think the overall scope of hero-specific education is in Japan?
So I just actually want to ask a question a little bit before that. So the license that everyone's getting, it's the provisional license. When do we actually know when you actually get a hero license? Is it, because I was thinking about that. I could not think of when people actually get their license. I didn't know if this was a thing of it's way further down the road, because I was trying to think of a timeline, right? Because once you go to UA, right, once you graduate, I don't think you necessarily go and be a hero right after that. I think there's people, because we know from All Might that you go to college.
No,
I think
that's a separate conversation. Let's talk about the high school part before we go into college. But I
actually think this is super important though. I think this is super important because if you don't get your license until like maybe after college, then that means like all these schools have to funnel into colleges.
No, I don't think college is a thing. I think they get their licenses at some point late on in high school or right as they graduate. And I think All Might's an exception of going to college for most people. And we know that because Hawks graduated UA at like 15, started his agency at 17, and then was like on the billboards by 18. So
That's true. Yeah, Hawks, but like is Hawks Hawks is a major outlier in a lot of.
You can't use him as an example.
But you can't use All Might as an example either. Like he's a big exception.
So, but All Might was like acting as a hero that we saw in like the the Two Heroes movie.
Yes.
He was acting as a hero.
He was able to openly use his quirk in America.
Yeah.
During college.
Well, no, that just means he has a provisional license of some sort at the very least.
You can't use your quirk whenever you want to, even with the provisional license.
And you have to be under somebody, right? You have to be under an agency.
That's why. That's why Deku and all of them got in trouble.
No, and you can't just like use your quirk either. Like they talk about this all the time that it has to be specifically for hero work.
Yeah.
Which I guess he was using. He was using it for hero work, right?
No, so. I mean not with the provisional license. I mean anytime.
Oh, with an actual license, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just like pop.
Yeah, this is like, and this is like a huge thing we talk about in Vigilantes too, because that's like the big thing they talk about is like proper quirk usage and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't like because I mean like it is kind of already off topic, but it's not at the same time because you need to figure out if all these hero schools funnel into hero colleges as well, right? So
we would have heard more about it at some point, and I don't. So there's these OVAs we were just talking about beforehand that kind of explains a little bit of why All Might went overseas. I don't want to dig into that much, but apparently this is canon. So this was based off a one-shot manga and all that. So I think All Might's an exception because they sent All Might overseas to get away for All for One. They sent him over there to get time away after a big fight. Is apparently what this OVA was saying. So that's part of why he went to college over there. So that's also an exception, and I think we should get anyone going to college in this universe after school to be gone because Deku already would have thought about that, or he would have wanted to say, I want to go to the All Might college too. Like he would have had some kind of.
Why did they go to college then? Why is there a hero college if you don't need it?
I don't think there is a hero college. I think it's just a normal college.
So you think that All Might just showed up and was chilling at a normal college, getting
he was a professional hero, went to America to hide, but also to be with American girls and just chill for 4 years because nothing he does matters.
What did he study?
Business, probably.
Business, yeah, I agree. Or science, or maybe he was.
Well, I mean, we see it in Vigilantes. He has Might Tower.
Yeah,
he has
he's
like
a businessman.
So the reason why I thought it was a hero college is because when he meets David Shield is basically the May of that college.
Well, yeah, he's an engineer. Engineers go to college.
Yeah,
no, but he's not just a normal engineer. He's a hero engineer. He does like weird hero stuff.
I know, but when there are heroes in a universe, I'm assuming most engineering goes around to dealing with supervillains, improving heroes. Improving like society of how when there's super.
No, but that's part of the hero courses though. There's specific heroes.
Those are sidekicks. May is a sidekick.
So is David.
She's in the sidekick.
Yes, so is David.
Course. I don't think he didn't. I don't think he went to college wanting to be a sidekick. That's why he didn't continue to be a sidekick after All Might left. He could have just gone and been someone else's sidekick. He was All Might's sidekick. No, he went to start a lab in Island to be a scientist, not a sidekick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he didn't like go to another
This man
agency.
was an engineer that was saved by All Might. They became close friends, and then he helped learn his own science experiments and improve them, which are based around hero work, which we're going to make most of your money in the world around All Might. Because All Might was a god.
So I just want to... If this is what we're thinking, do we want to agree then that there is no such thing as hero college in this universe?
I don't want to throw it out, but I don't think it's in Japan.
I think you can get a master's in heroing. I think that's a thing. Like I'm sure you could do it. They gotta flesh this out. I got questions I need answered.
So I want to take this because the reason why I'm asking this is because I want to bring this back to another question, right? If you don't need to go to college, you only need to go to school, and you get your license at the end of high school. UA is like the best, right? It's the best hero school in Japan. Some of them become sidekicks. Some of them become like not top tier heroes. What does that mean for all the other schools?
That's kind of where we got to go. Like,
We're
right?
in some
No, right.
and
What does that mean?
So, but I mean, I think it's weird though, because I think you can have the literal best sidekick though, right? Like, I mean, look at characters like
Mineta.
I'm not Mineta. Mineta sucks all around, but Shoji is literally like the ideal sidekick. Shoji is like phenomenal at reconnaissance and all that shit. It's exactly what you'd want in a sidekick. So I think even the sidekicks that that UA produces are like the cream of the crop.
but there's a sidekick course.
Is there?
No. I don't.
Oh no,
think
there's
that-
general. There's general business.
There's general studies. There's
No,
general studies.
what is May? What program is May in? I thought she was in the sidekick program.
No, she's
No, there is no sidekick. She's
no.
in something else.
Oh wait, no, he might be. It's not sidekick though. It's not sidekick, but it's something else.
Like she's in
Shit.
a specific.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
I thought she was in like the one who like makes like the wacky gadgets and stuff.
But,
Yeah,
like
there-
that has to be an actual.
Yeah, because I don't think she's like. I don't think she's a
She's
division
not
below.
general.
She's not general studies, and she's not business. She's not like the accounting part. Which, okay, hold up. We need to talk about that. We need to talk
Department of
about
Support, the support class.
support.
Yeah, support is not sidekick though. Support is very different from sidekick.
Yeah.
That's like that's kind of like Team Ida. Like some of them. are
Yeah, it's
probably
literally
from a
Team
support
Ida. Yeah.
course.
Or Team. Well, it's not Team Ida. Well, it is Team Ida, but. it's not
I
our
also
Ida.
do like the distinction of where it's either you're a hero, you're a support, you're doing support, or your business.
Or general.
Or you.
Where you
No,
have
but
nothing.
what does general go into then? That's the question. What is
Yeah,
general?
what do they study in? Like obviously, like the only general student we really know about is I'm blanking on his name right now. Help me out here, James. You love him,
Shinzo.
Shinzo. And he
Yeah.
went into the general course because he couldn't get into the hero course, but he was smart enough to get into UA and wanted to go up. Like
Yeah, and
that's-
Shinzo's fucking nuts. Like, so I like, yeah, what do they do there?
But
What-
like,
Because it's not a hero course, so what could they be studying that's related to quirks?
it might just be it might be a high-end private general high school. Like
But why are they
so-
putting them with heroes though? It doesn't make sense.
because you can only have like 20 hero, like you have two classes of 20 heroes each. You could probably, I mean, look at how big those buildings are. You could probably have a lot more general students to charge them and make a lot of money off them. This
Wait,
is
wait,
still
wait a second.
School system here.
Wait
who
a
do you think
second,
pays
Andrew.
for all these buildings?
Wait a second.
government.
So you're saying that that UA in a universe of where there's heroes and they made a school specifically to train the top tier heroes, they still need to make money, and so they made a general course to take other people in just to have them
And
go to
business.
school.
They have the
And
business,
business.
kids learn how to take advantage of the general kids to make more money.
I really need to know what they study in general. Like,
So-
this is
I
this is
I
irking
really do
me.
think it is just general education, but I do think there might be some unique aspects to it of improving your quirk and all that a little bit there, because everyone in this universe, almost everyone in this universe has some kind of quirk. Maybe not everyone, but we know like what 80% of the population has a quirk. So I think there are some low level stuff like that, but I bet there are quirkless people in the general class and the business class. And
Well, they can't be though, because they have to do the
No,
the training.
that's
Like
the hero.
that entrance is.
That's
is
the
that,
hero.
That's the
hero.
hero
yeah.
entrance exam. And I think that's part of why Shinzo didn't get in, is because he aced the Ridden, but he could not take down a single robot because it doesn't work on robots. They go over that. So he went to the general
Right, yeah.
course with the hope of going up. It's like a lot of people do that in like U.S. colleges. They'll go into I wanted to go to one school. I didn't get in directly to the business course. If I wanted to, I could have gone to the general education courses, taken those, and then apply to get in the hero course. That's
mean
what
general
Shinzo wants to
education?
do. I don't know if that's
guys-
what everyone does, or if just Shinzo's an exception to that.
We don't have general education in Canada. You go to university.
You do like 2 years of like worthless classes in the U.S. before you take
Oh,
anything business.
yeah, but
It's,
okay.
it's in the U.S. It's called undeclared, of where you just like say you don't have a specific path yet.
Well, even if you do have a specific path, you still take 2 years of classes that you don't care about. That's a
Yeah,
whole
that's
different.
But
education
anyways,
system. That's
beyond our education system, so I'm trying to wrap my head around because like the schooling system doesn't make sense.
no, they send 15-year-olds out into the world to fight deadly villains. That is what this education system does. They go into 12, they fight each other to the death for 3 years, and then they go become sidekicks for like a year or two, and then maybe become a hero and die at 18.
So I want to talk about this because we've been screaming at each other for like before the call about this too. What does this mean for the other schools then?
Yeah, because
UA is supposed to produce like
The
a
best.
top 10 hero, right?
I think it is the most famous because of All Might. I really do think that it's All Might's alma mater, sorry. And that's the reason why. But like, when you look at Shiketsu compared to UA, the quality of students don't seem that different, and they were all, maybe not all of them, but I think...
Shiketsu's the number 2. They do say that. Shiketsu is like right under
Yeah, and I don't think the gap's not big there, and they were all first years as well in that class, compared to Ketsubutsu, where they were second years taking it during their normal time. We don't know much about the other 2 schools because they just had like the one-off episodes and then disappeared. Yeah. But I think All Might is the reason UA is thought of years above because they created the god of this universe.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, but like also if you look at the teachers, like you have like kind of nutso teachers who are like former top 10 heroes and stuff, or like
because
current
of
top heroes.
That's where they that could have been where they went. That's true. I mean, a lot of them
aren't current. No, like none of them are current top 10.
I don't know, like how. What's the difference between Aizawa and All Might? Are they the same age? Did he go to school that much farther before them? Like, I don't know when he went to school.
Oh, yeah, I'm not too sure. Like, we don't really have a good read on Aizawa's age.
Because we know Aizawa's class was pretty loaded for Class 1A. We had, Mike with him. We had, I think Midnight was in that class as well. Or right around them, too. Like, I know that age group was really loaded, but I don't know when All Might went to UA.
Yeah, no, we don't really know that. We don't know how old he is because, like, I mean, the shitty part is too is like their characters don't really reflect their age because present Mike and Aizawa are like buddies, but those two do not look the same age, like at all, right? Like, so it's really hard to read that. So yeah, I guess like, well, it's like with like Joke's school, like I don't like we have no idea because they're doing the provisional license the second year. They don't even let them do it their first year.
So does that mean like some of the like bad schools, like the schools that just like aren't good hero schools, like just never get their?
But are there bad schools? That like goes back to my initial question. Do we think there's 60 where there's good and bad, or do we think there is 10, 15 good colleges across Japan where yes, there is a difference between UA and 15, but that's maybe 500 to 600 heroes a year that goes into schooling? Like, that's still, like, there's going to be 600 good quirks in a whole country a year. Like, that's not that unimaginable.
Well, yeah, because, so, like, if you think about it, like, if you think about the hero system, right? You have, like, a couple different tiers of heroes. You have, like countrywide heroes, right? These are, like, the top 10. You have regional heroes, and then you have, like, local heroes. We know that the hero ranking system at least goes to 555.
Because that's who was there? Was that Mount Lady that was there?
No, that was the normal hero. We were just talking about.
We were talking about
that,
him. Yeah. Manual.
Yeah. So we know it goes at least there, and he seems like a street level hero. At least like from what we got from him. So we could imagine that there's also a ton, probably around that as well.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty saturated like population.
But if you think about it, what Andrew was saying, if all those heroes get produced out of 10 schools, the numbers kind of do make sense if it's only 10. Because like that's a lot of students and you're putting them out every single year. Yeah. Like so I think,
and I'm sure there's a lot of heroes that get injured, retire, all that every year too. Like I don't think it's a long career. And I think that's why we see some of the heroes going into other aspects or starting their own agency and being just at the higher end of it all as well, instead of continuing to be a hero. So I think that ranking makes sense that, like, Night Eye died before the new hero rankings, but like they didn't make any mention of him in the rankings like they did with the best genist. So I don't know if he was in the rankings anymore because he was just ahead of an agency. So I definitely think there are people that they don't include in those lists as well, which is why I think there's a decent sized like crop of new students every year, but I don't think it's a crazy big number. So I don't think there's that big of a difference between UA and 10 or 15. I think UA is just the most famous. And it's the best because of that, because they get the more money, the best students, and all that. But I don't know if it was like automatically always the best or that there's always a big different scale.
Yeah, so this disappoints me a little bit though, because then that means there's no community college.
Well, there
or,
could
like,
be a
state
private.
school.
Like there could be one or two private high schools that allow anyone in, and then they're super strict about people that go in. Like we're assuming the 4 or 5 we know about, they're all private. Obviously, they all have some kind of exams. They select who goes into it. Who says there can't be a high school that just has like, okay, first 800 people to apply every year gets to go in, and then it's like a battle royale to the end until there's 30 people left.
Well, so we know there's at least a decent couple options, because when Deku is like getting chewed up by his mom, like that whole interaction with All Might and Deku's mom, she wants him to go to another school because UA's just been the target of like again and again, right? So I don't remember the exact dialogue of that, but we do know there's like other options. Whether or not there's entrance exams and all that stuff, we don't really know. We just know there's more, right?
And
so,
everyone from Bakugo and Deku's middle school class wanted to be a hero. So there were enough schools where like the teacher didn't instantly shoot them down, saying like, all right, not every single one of you guys can be a hero. There's only so many slots in the country. He's just like, yeah, you guys all have good quirks, even though your eyes just come 2 inches out of your heads. Like, it seemed pretty semi-realistic for most people after middle school to go into some kind of course. But Deku's idea of going to UA was laughed at. Because
UA. And so I've noticed this after watching like a lot of like other like I'd say sports anime is really the only thing that kind of relates to like My Hero, is that usually the protagonist goes to a school that's not as well known and is trying to restore its glory. So you actually get to see other schools and like how well they're funded, how crazy their teams are and stuff like that. But with My Hero, it's the opposite. So you don't really get that world building where you're like, okay, you're just the top, you're the best, and that's it, right? So it really like puts a damper on this kind of like of trying to figure out what's going on with the rest of the country, let alone the world too. Like we don't know what is going on in Japan, or not Japan, but like the States, Europe. Like we don't know any of that either, right?
Wait, and do we think you didn't go to high school late? Like, could you go back after like 19 and go back to UA? And
go get like your GED for heroing? Like
once you pass high school, is your window of becoming a hero done? Like Koichi, for example, he's in college right now. Could he never get his hero license now?
Well, no, because I don't think the hero license, I don't think it's inherently tied to like your GED. I think it's just an exam that the high school will prepare you to take that exam.
Yeah, it's like a prep school for the heroing specifically, right?
That would kind of make sense.
Because I think in Vigilantes, when we like early on, we had this like kind of like two chapters that like really dived into like licensing and like the implications behind it.
That was like the first chapter, wasn't
it? And I think it talks about that. Like it talks about like, oh, you have to like get your license or whatever, or like, or you have to like renew it or something. Like I think it is like an important aspect.
Yeah, it was the detective's sister explaining it to somebody, and it is like literally paragraphs of text. Like it's crazy.
So another fun thing to think about in this whole situation is that hero law is not international. It's different in literally every country.
That's what I said. That's why I didn't want to throw it out, is that there could be hero college in the United States.
Yeah.
Wait, what if there is
it's a bigger population?
Country...
It makes sense that there's more schooling for a biggie population, because you don't need as many heroes then to coming out every single year, because there's so many more schools. Like if there's 10 in Japan, there's 60 in the United States, which means you need less people each year, even though it's a bigger country, because there's more schools to make up for that. So you have high school and college to weed out only the best heroes, and then have everyone else become a sidekick earlier on. That's why I think it's realistic that there are hero colleges somewhere.
So
or like
what
China
if
or India where there's so many people.
What if America, though, is very different in the fact of whenever they wrote their constitution in their universe, they were very serious about the Second Amendment. And when they got quirks, they were just
use the quirk anytime.
Yeah, they were like this.
Boys.
This is us bearing arms.
Oh my god.
No hero license. It's a free reign country. Everyone's heroes. Let's go.
I mean, isn't it kind of weird that no one came to save the day except for All Might in the movie when there's just 2 people flying around the city? Like, we haven't actually seen any American heroes except for Captain Celebrity, and I don't know if he's actually probably a very good sign of what American heroes look like too.
Oh no, I think he's a very accurate representation. But they say he's not the best.
But he was up there. Like he's
up there.
Like he was super famous, and he fell from kind of grace because he had a bunch of drama. Like he was a very strong hero,
but I mean,
he had
like
drama, and that's why he went overseas.
But I mean, objectively though, Captain Celebrity's quirk is pretty damn crazy. Like
it is like, a B version of All Might, is what he seems like. Which in any other country is a very strong hero. He is near indestructible when he's not saving multiple people that we kind of learn about.
Yeah, well, he can do what All Might can't though, because he can actually transfer that force field that he basically protects on himself, right? So he definitely has more like some advantages that he doesn't. But so I can see why that ranks him so high in the U.S. rankings, right? So yeah, like I'm really curious to see how they set that up in like any other country. Like I mean, they don't touch it at all. They never touch it.
That's too much world building to build there. Like that.
What's wrong with that? Give me a giant encyclopedia. Of
give us the huge lore book.
Yeah, give me that.
But that's like I know there's drama around it right now, but like with Harry Potter, like obviously they just talk about pretty much they bring in 3 schools in, very similar to how they have very few select schools in My Hero. They do that same way. Like obviously there's been mention of like the US ones, but they're doing like a whole spin-off series on that to building out world like magic in America. And they're barely even doing that. Like that's just America's such a big country, and that's where a lot of watchers are from, so they're going to want to know every little detail. And no one wants to flesh out every single detail for a second country that doesn't really matter unless they do a full spin-off on it.
Give me Canadian My Hero.
No one cares about Canadian My Hero.
Give me the amount of ice quirks that would come out of here would be sick. It'd be ice and freaking gravy.
I don't know if that's how it works. It's just genetics.
Is it?
It's random.
It's totally random.
I'm
unless all the ice benders like move to Canada.
This is it. They gravitate up here, man. But like, yeah. So like, and what about like countries that aren't like don't have large populations? Do we just get like? Do you just go? Is there just one school and that's it? Like,
or
is there even a school?
I mean,
is there even a school? Right? Like,
I'm sure there's probably one, but maybe people like heroes relocate there. The government could work with Japan, say like, hey, we need a hero. Or like even on the island, like for that whole island, there's one hero that was there.
There was one dude, and he retired,
no one else there. So like obviously they had some kind of relationship with Japan to have these students come over and help for a while, and they could hire in or like say like, hey, if there's any smaller heroes that want to have a good island life, like I'd move there in a heartbeat. Are you kidding
Listen,
me?
that whole thing was real sus because they're like, let's just chuck 20 students and you guys get your own island, pretty much. You guys are the governing body
there was like
for
no
this
crime
island.
There, it was great.
It doesn't matter, dude.
Kind of
they're not the governing body.
They could have
like,
done whatever.
They're the most powerful.
Dylan.
All their quirks are nuts.
Who's
dude?
gonna stop them?
Exactly.
We saw how it went when villains came. If they want to take over an island, who's gonna stop them?
Exactly. But, you know, like, the Hero Society was just like, let's give them their own island. They won't turn it into, like, a sovereign state. No way. They won't do that.
All right.
Give me Sealand down there. Jesus.
Any other, like, tangents we want to go on related to education? Like, this was a good half an hour that I'm surprised we talked about this much for a while. Not really talk about anything specific, but we talked about some kind of education for 30 minutes.
I was hoping that we would get some sort of like good consensus on this. I'd be like,
we have nothing.
This makes sense. But no, I have more questions now. I want to know about like, is there a governing UN body that like deals with quirk law, like internationally?
I don't think so.
I have so many questions now about like quirks and like
has
quirk
there been
law.
like a world war, like the Great Ninja War? Has there ever been the Great Quirk War?
I feel like that would have to be mentioned. There's no way there hasn't been. Because, okay, so quirks are still
do they
a
fight
relatively
wars with
new
quirks?
thing. There's still
or
like
is there a UN that just says no quirks, use tanks? That just seems dumb.
use tanks.
Well, so James, what you were saying is, I think quirks are only 3 generations old at this point, because Gran Torino is probably one of the oldest.
Do we know that?
Quirk users? He probably is, because I
How do
like
we know
the way
it's
that
only
they.
3 generations?
I said it's probably, because they never reference anyone else older or any times older.
And usually people who are from previous generations that are referenced are already dead. Like they're.
I don't know if I want to put that into canon for the podcast. I don't feel confident about that answer.
You don't feel confident?
I feel incredibly confident saying that.
There's been 7
quirks are only 3
generations of All for One.
No,
One
it's
for All.
It's been passed down 7 times.
Yeah. That's different.
But that's
It's
different.
very different.
Yes, but that's still.
Yeah, no, that's like because that, like, so think about it. We have like, you have All Might's like teacher who was younger than Gran Torino, but she still gave it to him.
Yeah, and he's had it for like 20 years. So I don't know.
We don't even know if he said it for 20 years.
It could have been long. We don't know how long. I struggle to believe 3 generations, especially with redoing all of infrastructure in 3 generations. Seems like a lot.
Anyways, I think we can revisit this question probably later.
Oh God, we go back down this rabbit hole for a half an hour.
No, I agree though that there are a lot of questions, and that's just kind of what comes from a episode where the only thing we know about hero education is All Might win overseas for an unknown reason. UA's the most popular, and that there are 4 other schools that have been made canon in the My Hero universe. Outside of that, we know nothing. Yeah, even Dylan's big question of like the hero license, we don't know. Like, obviously, like Mirio and them, they're about to graduate like in a couple months. Like the first year of UA should be over soon. Like, obviously he's just gonna go. He was gonna work for Night Eye, but like, could he have just gone and be a hero? Like, I think you have to be a sidekick for at least a year or something. I don't know. A lot of questions.
We gotta. I think we gotta go back and like summarize it and like put out like an info doc, like being
There
this
might
is what we
be
know
an
objectively.
episode 2 of this sometime in the future once we get more information. Get some answers for one of these questions, but
Yeah, like an updated version.
yes, where we go back
This
to
is
this
what we
entire
know.
bullshit conversation and then add one new piece of conversation because it's just fun to talk about. But if for nothing else, I think it's time to wrap up the episode, boys.
Let's do it.
Sounds good. So yeah, guys, make sure to tell all your friends about the Class 1A podcast and hit us with that 5-star review on whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on.
Yeah, and we got a website. It's not hard to make one, but you can go to poptop.com to see it, or if you want to talk to us, go to twitter.com/popped_off.
Yeah, let's see.
I saw your face.
Let's say you make a website, Dylan. All right.
It's easy. You just drag and drop.
Shut up. All right. But that'll be all for this week's episode of the Class 1A podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week, we'll be continuing with the Vigilantes manga, and we hope to see you back in class next Saturday.